What's good, everybody, and welcome to the album review for Napalm Drop Volume 1. Napalm Drop is Skribbal and Big Left, and they're togetherly put out Volume 1, which I believe is a mixtape more than an album. Still, we're doing the little track-by-track album review over here on the Headspace podcast. My name is Holden Stephan Roy. This is the show where we break down new hip-hop projects track by track, giving thoughts and opinions on every song. An example of the kind of album that we talk about over here is Skribbal and Big Left presenting Napalm Drop Volume 1. I'm super excited to get into this, but before I do, I'm going to do my self-promo a little bit. I dropped an album myself recently. You can go ahead and check that out. Give me your thoughts and opinions on what you think of the sounds on that, and let me know what you think. Links in description. On top of that, I got myself a little contest running where you could do a little remix version of one of my tracks and win some cash if you're down for that. Again, links in description. And yo, if you support what we do, you could be cool like Skribbal and be one of our little patrons. Again, links in description. So yeah, I said that Skribbal is mad dope and has been supporting the show for quite some time. And unrelated to that, I've been supporting his music for quite some time because once upon a time he hit me up. He's like, you want to do an album review? And he was dope. He was just dope. What could I say? So we reviewed his album Skinwalker. And then along the way, he just started supporting us. Turned out he liked watching us and it's mad dope. So on that note, him and Big Left got together. I'm not going to lie. I heard about how excited Skribbal has been throughout this whole process of making this album and just the passion and the sheer joy that he has from making music, and the speed and efficiency this guy put this thing together in has me mad curious, mad excited about the entire situation. So I guess, yeah, I do know who Skribbal is. Skribbal's my boy. That's why I'm doing this album review, partly. The other part of it is because it's dope, what I've heard from him in the past. We've done 2 of his projects. You can check those out. I just think you should because he's really cool. Big Left. Oh yeah, I like to start my shows describing my familiarity with the artist to give you a sense of just where I'm at with everyone. Because let's say you hardcore fans, long time like Big Left fans, you might be like, who is this cocky little fucking punk not paying the due respects and shit? And I'm like, fair enough, because I don't know that Big Left that well. I know he's formerly of La Coca Nostra. He's like right there on the wiki page, and Skribbal has managed to say that to me about like 15 times straight up. But I never bothered to check that deep into it. Sorry, Big Left. I'm certain I will in the future look more into your catalog. It's just life is full of time restrictions sometimes, and even to that end, full disclosure, I haven't even heard the album yet. Skribbal was mad dope and sent it like a couple days early, but life is what life is. And the new way I'm doing these album reviews for the new releases of stuff is to hear it one time, each track, then go bump it over there. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to come back over here in front of the camera. I'm going to let you know what I think. Due to copyrights and whatnot, it's probably not a good idea for me to actually play the songs. Even if anyone gives me permission, it's not the point. It's just the way, rule of thumb. So if you want to pause it and go listen to the track and, you know, pretend you're doing it with me, that would be hella fresh. And in the future, we could even look into, should we do that live? Should we test that on another channel, playing the music live, seeing what happens? Not on this channel, but on another one where, you know, you can vibe with me while I'm consuming it for the first time, and then otherwise it would be the same show. Not really like related to this review, just general question to those of you watching this, if you would be interested in something like that, given you enjoy what I go on to do with this whole little episode. So yeah, I'm a verbose motherfucker. That's just what it is. I'm real excited to check out the project. I mean, I know what Skribbal sounds like. It's called Napalm Drop Volume 1. You just like off the jump are going to expect something hard hitting and something with bars. Like just off the jump, it's going to smack me in the face with my thoughts, and it's going to be smacking me in the face with lyricism and precision, right? Like people who know how to rap and know how to make it all dope. On top of that, there's the album cover, which I think is really cool. I think it's like this interesting because it's like inside of a scope. Meanwhile, it's got like the smoke of a bomb coming up, and you'll see like there's almost like a cop in the background and like an aggressive protester in the beginning, which gives off the kind of vibe that this is going to be some kind of a protest album. And that makes me real excited as well. I don't know. I'm just hoping that it lives up to that. At least it's going to be hard hitting. At least maybe there's going to be a little bit of a fuck the system vibe. Again, this is all being speculated without hearing the project, because that's kind of what an album cover does, right? It gives you like a little bit of a speculation window between the time you see it and the time you end up hitting play on the first track. So all I have to say, I really am hoping it's going to be as good as I'm excited for it to be ahead of time. And I'm going to go listen to the intro and we'll get this party started. This is a good start. This is a good start indeed. We got some nice production, some kind of hip-boppy, kind of chanty, militant almost sounding shit. I'm 98% sure it's Skribbal going Napalm, just kind of chanty Napalm Drop. It's a good vibe. It builds up. You kind of just picture them marching, but also in a sense of desolation. Maybe it's because of the little news bit at the end that got my mind picturing like Fallout, or maybe it's because of the cover. I'm just picturing like a Fallout wasteland. Like, I'm talking the video game. I'm talking Bethesda, that kind of a universe. And I just think it's a cool vibe. And then it's just like the newscast. I can't remember it verbatim, and I don't have any lyrics for this project in front of my face, so we rely on my memory. But the newscast gave me this feel of like a bunch of shit's gone bad. You know, the the world is not in the best place, but still, we have these little soldiers, the Napalm Drop warriors, and they're resilient, and they kind of fucking represent a squad of, I just kind of picture like a Mad Max tribe rolling on through it. I don't know. It's a cool vibe. It just got me excited. I'm actually really excited to hear what the rest of the project is. As far as the introduction goes, it's not quite Busta Rhymes ELE 2-level grandiose 7-minute introduction. Sorry, Skribbal and Big Left. But as far as introductions go, it's still fucking up there, and it gets me pretty pumped for the project. I'm giving this a solid 4.25. I'm grading harsher Skribbal. I used to be very generous with all my grades. But it's still an amazing introduction, and I think it follows a lot of elements to get me hyped up. Like, it's got hip-hop-ness built into the production while also being something that you can just kind of get excited for. Like, you just hype for the next track. I just spent a lot of time talking about some shit that's probably not even a minute long. Anyway, the next track is called Capone Corvallen or Corvallen or something. I think it's mad dope that this track has scratching at the end the way that it does. Like, some authentic sounding, old school, just kind of like paying homage to the classic element of DJ work with the scratching. So big respect to both of these dudes for making that happen on this project and making it sound so ill so early on. So Big Left shows up. And my first thoughts were that hook thing he does at the beginning was bless. It just sounds really solid and really proper. And then he starts rapping, and I'm like, holy shit, it really sounds like La Coca Nostra. Like, no shit, it really fits in perfectly. I like the way everything was rapped. I mean, this might not be like the most detailed in terms of a bar analysis, but I felt like the flows were so pristine on both ends of it, both Skribbal and Big Left. But I was just listening to the way the voices were riding the flows and setting up the, like, almost like there's part one of the bars and then part two of them, and sonically just layering it down in a way where it just fit the beat snug like a bug in a rug. I really liked when Big Left went through that, like, digging into graves, digging into crates lines there. I don't know. Anytime I hear digging into crates, I feel like it's just mad respect to hip-hop, just what it represents to me, given the crew, and just the idea of it. And I felt like there's the sense in Big Left's verse where, like, maybe in the past things didn't go the right way and that chemistry's gone, but almost like, killing off that old persona and coming back through with something new. And then Skribbal feels like a Martian from outer space that's just fucking laying down this smooth ass flow where he's bouncing off the beat. And it's nice. Like, it's nothing complicated, but it's really just a fun, bouncy energy that he brings to it and just kind of keeps it. He rides it. And the energy that Skribbal brings is like almost like a be real, like a high pitch kind of like coming through and just like lifting you up. And Big Left has almost more like a calming kind of voice to him. So like Big Left's a bit of like as far as drugs go, he's a bit of a downer, and Skribbal's a bit of a upper. But like straight up, this that classic hip hop shit. This that like classic underground sounding, the beat's fucking proper, everybody's rhymes is tight. Like that was the thing that really caught me. I'm not gonna lie, the bars, had they been like next level, like whatever. I mean, I just spent like 3 hours with Busta Rhymes right before this, and he had some fucking crazy concepts and bars. So I guess following that, I'm not getting that vibe of my scholarly intellectualism tickled, but I am getting that hip hop. I could just fucking throw this on, bop to it, and respect the talent of two MCs laying down their craft proper. And not really like, I know I made the reference of La Coca Nostra for Big Left's bars, but I mean, he was in it, so fair enough. But like, it was still tight. I love that shit. I love the way he was cutting up his flow to just fit into the beat. I love the way Skribbals was more smooth and elongated. It was just a good track, okay? I don't know where I'm going with this anymore. I'm gonna have to throw this down with like a solid 4.35. This is a good jam, man. This is a good way to start a project and make me want to hear what comes next. It just felt like two classic MCs introducing themselves in a way that was flexing, but in a way that also wasn't like I felt like I respect these men. You know, I wasn't like I wasn't left with like this sense of either of them were trying to like like when people flex too hard and it just kind of backfires. It was none of that shit. It was just the right amount of flexing to introduce this concept of like they're not trying to be the best per se. They're just letting you know they got what it takes to make it through this shit. It was more the vibe I was getting. So for the life of me, the only thing I could find for a Corvallen, and if this is right, it actually makes Skribbal's verse like fucking dope. It's a Star Trek reference. Like there's a race in Star Trek that is the Corvallens. I don't actually remember which ones they were, but looking at a picture of them, cool. But if that's the case, that, you know, Capone is like more the mob boss kind of whatever coming through with that style, and with all the alien shit that like in the intergalactic stuff that Skribbal put, if he's the Corvallen and it's because it's an alien race from Star Trek, like, dog, that's some next level respect is all I gotta say. Anyway, the next track is called Raised in Darkness. I thought it was fun when Skribbal went pedal to the metal, double penetrate my brain. I feel like that's just the vibe of like Skribbal's lyricism. It flows so beautifully. It's got this goofy imagery to it. He again plays down on being the Martian, and he starts this track off really strong. Yo, that beat is nuts too. Like the dingly dinglies, and then it just flows into this like proper beat. It's hype. It just got me really hyped up. And then Skribbal like does the classic big ups at the beginning, and it just flows into him again, delivering this smooth, crisp flow. He just glides on the beat. His voice has this airy confidence to it. He introduces himself as a West Coast artist. You know, he likes it raw. I like the part where, again, I don't remember it, but like the do or die kind of artist, and you're like the homicide whatever artist, and I'm the do or die kind of artist, and like just that energy. He's the real shit, and others are not. And here's the thing about Skribbal. I guess with my blessed knowledge of talking to him over the last couple of years, I know he's a pretty fucking legitimate dude, and consistently, and all that other good stuff, right? So like, it's cool to see this, and it just sounded really great. Like, again, it's not necessarily like philosophical bars, but it's the kind of shit that when you're looking to flex and like, I can see myself almost like working out to this vibe that they have going on here. And then in sharp contrast to almost like the goofier, out there, weirder side that Skribbal brings to the table, you have like this cold, militant almost verse down to like packing heat and shit, or like packing a fiddle with the fiddle on the tarmac. It's like, or something like that. I know I said your bar on Big Left. I'm so sorry, but I really liked it. I liked the way that he wrote that shit, and you're just picturing him there in the middle with the plane situation. Maybe some funny business is going down. I mean, he is Mr. Capone, you know what I'm saying? And it just flowed proper. I love his voice. I love the way he rides the beat. I like the contrast between these two guys. It creates like a really almost Cypress Hill-esque effect. And that's amazing. Like, that's the best like sonic comparison I can think of. And I don't know. I can't remember any of the other bars. I'm so sorry, Big Left. It's just, it was fun to listen to. The energy was tough. Like, it's a tough, powerful energy that comes off this track. Again, following through. Like, it's almost like you get the sense that Napalm Drop is just two real dudes bringing in that classic hip-hop shit, you know, in their own styles from their own cities. Because you got, like, I guess, New York and you got L.A. And it's just those two styles brought together, really, like, well put together. Because I'm feeling that shit from Big Left. I think it's New York. If it's not, my bad. I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere. And then Skribbal's got that L.A. kind of airiness, and whereas the more punchy natured, and it really just blends well together. I think it's really fucking cool so far. I'm going to throw out a 4.25 on this. It's really good, but I also don't think, just to be a little critical, not because, like, it's just what it is, I don't know that there was a lot that was like mad memorable between the two tracks so far. they're consistently good. They're both really strong pieces. I'm hoping along the way we get some topical shit that really just flares out, but that's my preferences. I know a lot of people who would throw this on and eat it up like candy, and there are definitely a lot of people I'm gonna recommend this project to just off the first couple of songs alone. All right. I'm gonna get on to the next one. Just wait, I'll have my opinion soon. So I definitely haven't heard this project before, and so I'm quite surprised that I asked for a kind of more content-driven thing, and I was given just that. That was amazing. That was a great thing to discover. I'm way too excited for like the content of this song, which is a little dark, but it really is like the backstory. So if you think about it from like a story perspective, the first couple of tracks set up like the militant, coming through, we're hard hitting, we're tough, we're Napalm Drop, we're doing our shit. And now you're getting a bit of why a little bit we are this way. And it's the backstory. So Skribbal kind of walks you through how growing up in a broken home, dealing with, parents with addiction and the complicated natures of that lifestyle and the impact that it's had on him, down to like this really humble approach with like, a thank you almost for putting us through that pain, because it gave us the strength to make it through to the places we are today. Like there wouldn't be this album that I'm like sitting here talking about if Skribbal hadn't had those experiences. And to take on such a humble, mature approach to it rather than lash out or be full of hate is really, really incredible. And then Big Left comes through, and he's again kind of describing growing up in this welfare stamp poor environment. And man, he just talks about somebody showing up and there was some complication, and then they just fucking, mom makes a call and dude gets pulled out and just like lit up, and he just becomes a victim of the streets. And it's like, this is like those times where I try to picture like being a kid and being in the kind of environment where somebody could just die like that. And it's such a, it hit my heartstrings, is all I'm trying to say. It hit my heartstrings heavy. It was really beautifully put together. The vibe it is captured just really, it's the type of shit where no kid should ever have to go through, witness, or be a part of it any kind of way. So I appreciated this story. I feel like it humanizes Napalm Drop on that front. And it's really, really important to have that element. Like, you don't just want to come in and be the villain, in my opinion. You want to show that you're not the villain. You're maybe not the hero in a conventional sense. Maybe you're something of a vigilante. Maybe you're a protester or a rebel of some kind. But to have that humanizing agent's really good. This was a really cool song, and it has a good like chorus in the middle to glue it together. I'm gonna give this a 4.5. It was really strong. I'm gonna remember this one for a quick minute, well, a long minute, not a quick minute. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, the next one is our first interlude, where we're gonna get a Big Left PSA, a little public service announcement. I'm looking forward to hearing what the man has to say. So the beat's nice and it just kind of flows, and then Big Left is like, yo, this the official fucking public service announcement from Napalm Drop. Do some dumb shit, like fucking without a condom. Do some dumb shit. And it's done. I think the intent is to be kind of humorous and, reckless in like a fun way. I don't know. It's not my cup of tea content-wise, but I think it shows this reckless abandonment that makes sense with, I guess, the brand and whatnot. But to me, I don't know what I would have done different. I don't know that I would have done that. But I'm not funny. Like, I'm not a funny guy, and I don't really make a lot of jokes and shit. So, like, my opinion on what's funny is terrible, and most people don't agree with me. So don't take it real bad, Mr. Big Left. I don't want to disrespect like that. But I was like, this is a 3. I would have been like, this is like Eminem's fucking PSAs. Like, this another public service man brought to you in part by Slim. It's just kind of like what it is. A lot of people think they're great. I don't happen to be one of them. That's all right. I like the bars, though. I like the tracks. So I guess what you can say is I hope you don't take it like I'm trying to press your luck. Straight up 4.5 on 5. This is the best thing I heard so far on the project. Like, I don't know, I don't have any notes on my phone or anything, but yo, this is fucking banging. The beat's just real upbeat. I love the back and forth rhyming, the way that they kind of just bounce off of each other. I think it's like 2-4 bars here, 2-4 bars here, and it just is perfect. They just have that chemistry where it's almost M and Dre level of fucking dopeness to me. I'm not even playing. It's not an exaggeration. I love the way they synergized here, and it's just, again, like a mix of braggadocious, but there's definitely some politics bars, like, you know, drain this swamp, something, something. I don't remember the rest of the bar, but like, it was really like, kind of like, they're surprised we know the truth of the situation is what I took from it. Or I like the bar about like something about, you know, something about cleaning up with the mop and bucket, finish getting tops or whatever. And I don't know, I can't remember the bars, but they were fucking just great. The wordplay was just nice little puns and one-liners that lined up to kind of bring forth this conscious awareness mixed with like fun kind of, you know, grandiosity. And I just think it meshed so well. I wish I could remember more of them. I'm real sorry. I suppose that's why Genius.com is dope and having lyrics available is helpful, but it doesn't change the fact that they bounce with perfect flair. The rhythms again were pristine. I don't know, the same kind of stuff I've been saying. I just really enjoyed it. In the middle of this track, though, it breaks down into like one of those classic hip-hop breaks where instead of having like a conventional chorus, they use the scratchings and the overall kind of breakbeat style stuff to like really hold it down, give you a little break between the two verses before they give you an onslaught on the second one. And then at the end, they scratch up the Napalm Drop a whole. I kept saying like Napalm Death. I kept trying to Google Napalm Death, and it ended up giving me very different search results. I can tell you that much. But yeah, I like this one a lot. I think this was like really cool. It just is more energetic too. It's a more upbeat, fun, bouncy track in general, and like this could be at a party. Like I would throw this on at a party, and it would be like a really good time. And I kind of like the vibe it's giving me in a big way. So instead of rambling on, I'm gonna move on, and we can talk about back in the day. This song's fun. It has like this old-timey sample. I don't know what they sampled, and it just kind of like flows into the beat, and it has like that classic old feel before they banned sampling. If you know what I mean, in terms of the beat, and it's just nice. It's just got a great flow to it, and it really has this back in the day feel to the instrumental. So I love the fact that they rolled with that vibe. And Skribbal starts us off with some really descriptive shit. Like he's just kind of walking down, and he smokes a bowl, and then the way he describes like trying to not have the wind fuck up the weed in the pipe was really just cool. Like I can almost picture myself being in that moment with him. And then he's kind of putting the headphones on and has like this flashback to being a kid, you know, back in 88 when he first encountered, or, you know, he's got brought back to 88 through the tape that he had when he was a kid. Because I'm like, yo, Skribbal's too young to be like alive in 88, I'm pretty sure. That's not the point, but still, it was just the idea of encountering hip-hop at like 8 years old and just having this like experience and still being with it to this day, even if you question it, just almost being addicted to it. And I love what he did with that verse. I love how it's like the birth of hip-hop in his life. And then you have Big Left, who also does this. Look, his flow here is impeccable. Like it's some like fucking next level, like, I don't know, it's that type of shit where like really I think New York rap shines with the short, punchy, really the way the writing is done. It's like very little is said, but the few words end up painting this bigger canvas of imagery. Again, I can't remember specific bars, but like I can picture a situation happening at the store, and then, you know, the crack that's going on in the environment of his world, and just kind of his inception to the situation. And his flow is just brilliant, and I love the way he's like, you know, playing up that he's done a whole bunch of shit, maybe some tomfoolery. I liked when he's like, you know, may have made a couple left turns when I should have went right. It just was such a fun fucking like little airy track. I like it a lot. This one was like really cool. This was more like I'd show it to the nice people, and I like the fact that they thought about that and made sure there's some tracks for the nice people up in there, and I gave it a 4.35. This is a good project so far. Anyway, the next one is called Pain Gang, from LA to the Bronx. This starts off with this clip of 10 old words that should come back and to life. Like, I don't remember what they were, but it was fucking goofy. And it had that old-timey, almost 1920s radio voice using examples of how these words would have been used in context. Like, I got myself fired, I need to get myself a gaggle water, or whatever the fuck that one was. And it was awesome. It really, like, and you're like, I kind of hope that the skit was just gonna be that. And I was like, I'm okay if neither Big Left or Skribbal shows up here because this is fucking hilarious, and I'm really enjoying the experience. But then it cuts off, and Big Left does this epic verse. This was really cool. I don't even want to like. It just starts off with this like airy description of shit, and it's just like he goes through this whole adventure on this verse, like almost the whole experience happens with these short little punchlines as he's just kind of loosely describing shit. And I love the way he does this. Like, I just love the way it gets punched and packed in, and like you have to stop and really think about what he's trying to say. I like the way he's just like, you know, airily like, let me put it this, she's a dog or whatever, just to like add this extra flaring context and then just move on to the next idea. But like all these ideas connected create almost this moving picture landscape with his lyrics, and it's just so cool. I highly recommend you check out this tune. Big Left fucking like crushed it in my opinion. He just like stole the show on this one. Sorry, Skribbal. Big Left stole the show on this one. Skribbal shit was good. Skribbal shit was good too, don't get me wrong. Big Left stole the show on this one. Holy shit, I really fucking enjoyed that verse, man. It's just the way he like punched it, the way he came through with just the pristine layering and flow. Now Skribbal's smooth and shit, and I like the way he was airy, and I like the way he danced on the beat and he did all the things that were going on. But I don't know, there's just something to the poetry of what Big Left did that just kind of stood out, and like I was still thinking a little bit about Big Left's bars as Skribbal started. Don't get me wrong, I still tried my best, you know, keep up with everything proper, but it was a good verse from Skribbal's end. I like the way that Skribbal cuts off the track at the end, like Napalm Drop, and then like the gunshots come through. I was like, that's cute. It was a cute move. It was like cute in the context of the album, I guess. But I can't remember any of Skribbal's bars right now, and I feel kind of bad. But I know I enjoyed his delivery. I enjoyed the performance, the energy, the airiness to it. I think there was something about being on Cadillacs, something with a gun to the hip, and like it was just kind of like I felt like Skribbal was really to fuck me up on this track. Was the overall sense it took away from it. Whereas I felt like, and maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but Big Left and I, if we went out, it would be a wild fucking time. And that's but like in a way where like everybody's doing some nasty shit by the end of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little tired and my brain's imagination's kicking in. But I would bump this tune again any day of the fucking week. It was really good, and I'm gonna give it a 4.35 again. All right, let's move on though to the Skribbal PSA and see if he matches or outdoes the Big Left PSA. I don't even know how to process this one. I don't know if I'm like the right kind of goofy for these kind of jokes. But Skribbal is basically like, that pussy stank, clean it, with more descriptive details. I feel like there was a little more energy and rhyminess to like Skribbal. Like it felt like, what do you call it, the deuces or the 12s or whatever, like when people would just diss each other in more rhythmic poetry form. It felt like that kind of energy. And then he's like, if you don't live in the house, may as well be the boss or something. And I had no idea what the fuck that meant in the context of a skit. Like, I just sincerely have no idea what that means. I'm like, it sounds good. It sounds fine. I'm going to give this kid another little 3 here, 3.5. I don't know. I'm not into these two little PSAs. That doesn't mean anything. Don't take my fucking opinion on them. That's why I made that whole little speech the last time. Sometimes I know just because I don't like something doesn't mean shit all about its quality. This is so subjective. And I know Skribbal, and he could be like, hitting me up in the DMs being like, bro, what the fuck? This is blah, blah, blah. That's fair, Skribbal, but here's the thing. Didn't do it for me. This one, I like the rhymes, though. The tracks are killing it. Like, y'all are killing it. Like, you put out an album, I'm like, I'm fucking in. But I'm just saying, these PSAs, I'm sure a lot of people would like it. Like a lot of people. It is what it is. Let's move on. Let's move on and talk about, what is it, Divine? I think it's Divine. I hope it's Divine. I love, like, the way they're using samples on this project. You basically have this kind of goofy sounding guy, what's all his toes are grabbing kind of shit, picking it up. It's a little comic-y, it's a little goofy, and then Skribbal comes in with some hard shit. I like the part where it's like, he kind of correlates religion and guns a bit at the beginning. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought in specific bars that popped out at me when Big Left was like something like, you know, pull out the metal, pull out the gun, make you nibble on the metal. I just like the way he said that. It was a lot of rhyming in that kind of regards, like the way he just put nibble on the metal, and made it all just sound proper. Like, I can't fully convey to you how good these guys are rhyming. when I say rhyming, I mean the specific art of putting words together in a way that is just like fucking dope. Like, I think Skribbal's like cautiously cautious, like something like con artist or whatever, and the way he just flows it and he keeps that running over and over again with the words, and it just is like this beautiful mesh where if you like graph it out, it's just perfect symmetry, in my opinion, in the way these guys lay it down. And this track is another great display of their ability to put down bars. There's a lot of gun talk on this one. Very heavy gun talk. That would be like the core niche of the bars on this, in my opinion. But it's delightful to listen to, and I feel like you really do have that. You just continue getting that contrast between the two styles, making these great little short, punchy tracks. And I think this is a good underground project. There's like a lot of people I know that are into like this underground, hard hitting, just bars for days feel. Like, is it gonna be intellectualism and shit you may never have heard before? Maybe not. I'm not gonna say that this is gonna be like that kind of lyricism, no. But is it that kind of hard hitting, gruff, these men is spitting the realest shit they can be spitting in the moment type shit? That's the energy that you're getting. It's not about, I guess it's just about being yourself, being fucking tough with it, being like fucking able to hold your own in the battle that is hip hop. And these men are contenders that are making that happen for me. Like, for real, I dug the vibe of this shit. I'm gonna give it another 4.35. And I think the next one is called Day 4. This is more of an interesting one that stands out. The beginning of the track gives you this sense of a cataclysmic event of some kind has taken place, and we don't really know what's going on, but I love the way that Big Left starts it with like Day 4 and this like earthquake's gone on and Manhattan's kind of fucked up, and it's just painting like this survivor-esque situation, like a lot of bad stuff's gone on, and it's kind of alluded to throughout the track that the government fucked up. This could be like the result of nuclear war, and this is just trying to survive in this post-apocalyptic situation, which is constant. It's brought up a few times, right? And I guess that's kind of part of what the Napalm Drop is meant to be a bit. What it would be like to try to survive in this world and the mentality maybe you need to have to survive in this world. And these guys are just kind of giving you the toolkit to be ready for it, because it is a bit of cutthroat shit that gets conveyed. And I love Skribbal's part. Skribbal has this like this vivid pictures of like people just dying, like, you know, they're trying to like stay alive, they're not going to make it through the night, and then lost arms, lost eyes, lost this, lost that. It just kind of builds into this thing. Why? Because it's like the government fucked up, the government didn't play it right, and all these people are suffering and dying. And I'm like, yo, this is a pretty profound song, this project. Like, yeah, there's some gunplay shit, but like maybe you do need to know how to fight with guns when your country kind of looks like America looks right now. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like Canada's better because I'm up here, but yo, there's some weird shit going on, and it's like a metaphor for what could go down. I really like this. I really appreciated this song. I think it's one of the better ones on the album. I'm not gonna lie. I love the use of, again, sampled material to kind of enhance the overall story arc of the track, and I think it's real stand out with that like tense kind of build up in the beat. That, not like a build up, but like this tense tone that kind of resonates throughout the beat that really adds to the atmosphere of like this post-apocalyptic environment of some situation where, you know, what would happen if, you know, Manhattan was literally fucked up by a nuke and is no longer even connected proper or whatever. So I think this was brilliant. This was really good. 4.5 on 5. It's a really strong song. What's the next one called? This Is Hell. Yo, you guys really need to do more choruses. This was a strong chorus. This was a really good one. I love the way Skribbal, you kind of went into that more high-pitched, kind of singy kind of tone. It flowed nice. It was a real good contrast to the voice that was used in the verses. These verses are intense. There's this build-up scenic thing. I feel like Big Left's kind of paints this harsh picture again, but like looking at almost like people kind of fuck themselves by buying into the propagandist bullshit and then just allowing the circumstances of the world to be what they are. Now people are suffering, so this is hell is kind of the tone I took from it. Again, they're punching with amazing bars throughout the whole way through that I'm clearly not reciting back at you because it is what it is. But I love the energy on this. I love the way Skribbal rides the beat too. It's just such a tone setter. It's like tense. It's almost like a bit of a horror movie. Like, it's like if we follow up the last track, almost like as if there's a bit of a story arc happening here. There's this intensity to it. Now we're in the middle of hell. Like, everything's fucked up, and I feel like they use a lot of the good, you know, descriptiveness to paint that landscape. That was awful. the build up in the way they rap is just so different. Everything about this track stands out, and I think it's really cool to see that level of versatility in delivery. Like literally, Big Left starts with this like quick, trickier flow that we have not seen at all in this kind of project. He's been kind of cooler, calmer throughout the rest of it. So like, there's like an urgency in this track that I think is really just well done. I like it a lot. I like it. I'm gonna give it another 4.5. I would recommend this track amongst the others. Anyway, not to say that it's not like better or worse or whatever. I just really thought this one hit hard because, yeah, tone and all that other stuff. All right, let's move on to the next one. This was maybe a little bit of a fumbly or a little breakdown. It is what it is. Let's move on. I think this is the best track on the album. Flat out. Like, it starts off letting you know very clearly we're going to be talking about soldiers, post-traumatic stress disorder, and the fact that there is no support structure for veterans. And man, like, I love the tone that Big Left takes, where he takes on the personification of a soldier enticed to go off to war, and then he comes back and, like, you know, there's no real, like I said, support structure for it, and so people aren't understanding how they think or how they feel or what they're like set up to do, and it just really, he just puts himself into the mind of this person and really conveys it emotionally. So you're left with this empathy of what it just is to be pained and struggling with the actions of what you've done for your country, almost like indoctrinated into it, only to come home and be abandoned and rejected by it. And then it's just really, really amazing. And then again, like with the choruses thing, Skribbal like slaps hard on this chorus. Sonically, it reminds me of like Christian music's uplifting kind of pop music-y rap choruses. That honestly, that's what it feels like. It like, I don't know if that's clear to anyone, but from my youth group in Christianity life back in the day, that's the kind of sound I feel like, the energy, the super uplifting poppy nature of it. But it's really encouraging, like save me from myself, save me from all the dark thoughts and shit that are running through this PTSD situation. I like when Skribbal goes shell shock from what I've shot or who I've shot or whatever. That was like a solid fucking line, and it's just his verse again takes on that same general subject of like looking at what it is to be conscripted into the U.S., like just the idea of joining the army for a sake of identity, to find somewhere to belong, and then to go through this whole situation only to come home and you're just haunted by the fact that you've killed people and things like that. And like, I know like a guy I went to school with myself who ended up being in the Canadian forces and served in Afghanistan and whatnot. Like, this is a real thing that just isn't talked about, like especially for young veterans, right? Like, we don't really ever talk about the fact that the veteran could be 20 years old, is fucked up with PTSD and no support system. And so I love the fact that on this album, these dudes did this. This is an incredible tune. This is a 5 on 5. This is like, and plus the beat's amazing. Like, it's just really well done. I'm really fucking impressed with this track. I don't know a lot more to say. This is the standout one that I would show everybody. That, well, maybe not everybody. That underground bar shit, there's still some other ones. But most people I know would appreciate this track the most on this project. I'm in middle class America with a bunch of people that like pop and not super deep hip hop. So most people I know don't count. Outro is the next track. Alright, so this just has kind of some army clippings of like calling it a napalm drop, because that was the thing, right? I'm pretty sure napalm was used in the Vietnam War, and it would have been like a real thing. The plane would have flown through and dropped napalm on a situation, and it was pretty bad. I'm pretty sure it's war crimey. Like, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was like a war crimey substance that we're not supposed to use anymore in our civilized 2020 era. That's a joke. I like it. It ties back into the intro. The beat kicks in about halfway through. Skribbal's back in with his napalm stuff there. It's all right. It's a good way to end this project. I'll give it a 4 point whatever. It's fine. It's a good way to end this project. It fits. It's what it is. I like this little mixtape album. I'm gonna give it a 4.35. Like, it's a really solid, good album. Do I think it's a classic? No. Do I think it's a really good project that I would listen to again? Yeah, I absolutely do. I think Big Left and Skribbal did a great job presenting themselves to the world here. As contenders. I know a fuck ton of people that would tell me I can't rap and that I have to go make shit that sounds like this, and unless I'm learning how to rap like these guys, I don't even fucking stand a chance in this game. I mean, maybe they're right, but these guys are actually tapping into like what a lot of the underground should be doing, in my opinion. That well-written, well-constructed, rhythmically tight, decent punchlines, not decent, like they're good punchlines, but like good punchlines of like fucking setups and everything, just to like, you know, appeal to the real artistry of hip hop and what it is. Then you have varying song concepts. Like, let's be real, there weren't like two tracks that, there was a couple that were a little braggadocious at the beginning, but for the most part, every song has its own like specific niche and theme. A lot of them were just two verses. Some of them had some choruses thrown in. We got some versatility in sound and style. I think this was a really great project, a really great introduction to them, and I'm really glad I listened to it. Sincerely, I would recommend it to y'all who are into that underground hip hop sound. On that note, that's the end of my my review here. It's been a long day of reviews for me. So I do hope you liked it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Feel free to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more reviews. Hit that like button if you like this. And special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prada, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Linda Williams, and Skribbal. Yeah, the same Skribbal. Anyway, this review is unrelated to him being my patron. I think Skribbal's a dope artist that I want to support. And I think these things can just be unrelated. Because trust me, I don't think I gave Skribbal the kind of review he would want if he paid for it. I don't know. Maybe I could have tried harder. If he paid for it, I guess, and I would have maybe put more effort into writing lyrics down. That would have been the main difference. But I think y'all can see, like, sincerely, I enjoyed this album, and I hope that y'all can get something out of it. Anyhow, definitely support us on Patreon if you feel what we do. I just put out the Busta Rhymes Extinction Level Event 2 album review, so if you want to feel that, bump that. I drop music myself. You can check that out. Anyway, it's been a good day, and I'm glad I got to listen to so much great hip-hop. So yeah, live long and prosper, everyone.